Get Arsenal updates directly to your inbox. Subscribe. Thank you for subscribing. See our privacy notice. Could not subscribe. Try again later. Invalid email. It was tough to shake the feeling of frustration immediately after Tuesday night's clash at Old Trafford. On one hand, a draw at Old Trafford is never a bad result, but you just felt Arsenal had missed a massive opportunity to leave Manchester with all 3 points, something they hadn't done in the league since 2006. But when you take a step back and really analyze it, Wednesday was another really positive chapter in the story Emery is writing. Coming just 3 days after what was as intense a North London derby as you will see, the game at Old Trafford was as bruising as they come. This was a throwback to some of the battles of the past at Old Trafford between these two teams. In awful conditions and played under a mid-intense atmosphere, Wednesday night's game was not for the faint-hearted. But again Arsenal stood up to the test well, and the fact they were left thinking they had dropped 2 points says it all about where this team is already. In recent years, this was a game Arsenal would have wilted in. As the challenges thundered in, Arsenal would have gone into their shell. But Wednesday was different. Even with some players below par, they stepped up and fought for each other and left with a result. They even managed to shake off the sight of 2 of their teammates going off with serious-looking injuries. Defensively, the old issues still remain and need solving. The 2 goals conceded were poor, especially the second one when Xhaka should have just dealt with the situation himself. Image, /AFP/Getty Images. But there were plenty of positives to come from Wednesday night. Arsenal have had 2 tough away games at Bournemouth and United, with the North London derby sandwiched in between. They've taken 7 points from those games. That is a very good return. A win on Saturday against Huddersfield will cap an impressive run of results for Emery's ever-improving side. The Spaniard said he was proud of his players after the draw at Old Trafford, and he had every right to be. Injury worries mount. Arsenal were certainly left counting the cost of what was a bruising encounter on Wednesday night. They lost Rob Holding and Aaron Ramsey to injury, with the former seemingly set for an extended spell on the sidelines. Emery revealed after the game that Holding's injury was a big one. We have to wait and see what the specialists find, but the fear of a potential cruciate ligament diagnosis is a very real one. Arsenal are hoping that will not be the case, but the look on Holding's face while he was receiving treatment was one of someone who knew something serious had happened. Aaron Ramsey's ankle problem seems to be far less severe, but this is a time now when injury problems will begin to really hit a squad ahead of the busy festive period. So far, Arsenal's squad has dealt with things relatively well, but Emery will be well aware that he can't afford to lose too many players at this stage of the season. Mislintat's new transfer priority. If Holding's injury is as bad as is feared, it leaves Arsenal facing another difficult question when it comes to the January transfer window. Arsenal did not want to do any business in injury, but now they are already facing up to the prospect of bringing in cover for Danny Welbeck. And now they may well have to do the same when it comes to Holding. Image, Stuart MacFarlane /Arsenal FC via Getty Images. The injury is such a shame considering how well Holding had been playing. but there is no doubt that it leaves Arsenal very short at centre-back. Yes, Laurent Koscielny is closing in on a return and should play for the first team against Karabakh in the Europa League next week. But it's tough to really pin your hopes on a 33-year-old centre-back who has not played for 5 months. Konstantinos Mavropanos is also close to a return. But again, he is a 20-year-old who has made just 3 senior appearances for Arsenal. So Emery is basically relying on Shkodran Mustafi and Socrates to stay fit, which is a big ask if you want to go and secure a spot in the top 4 over the second half of the campaign while also trying to win the Europa League. You feel, if the diagnosis on Holding is bad, that has to be a priority now for Sven Mislintat and Emery to bring in a centre-back in January. There is the option of bring Callum Chambers back from Fulham, but he has hardly set the world alight at Craven Cottage and is now being used as a midfielder. Arsenal's priority defensively has been a left-back for some time now, and one will arrive in the summer, but you sense that a new centre-back could now be just as important if Arsenal want to maintain their challenge for the Champions League. Xhaka was missed. Matteo Guendouzi ended the game well at Old Trafford after what was a nervy start, and the talent of the French teenager certainly can't be questioned. But there is no doubt that Arsenal missed Granit Xhaka badly at Old Trafford on Wednesday night. With the addition of Lucas Torreira alongside him in midfield, Xhaka has turned himself into a hugely important figure in Emery's side. Image, Sean Botterill /Getty Images. Almost everything goes through him. He receives the ball from deep, gets his head up and gets Arsenal moving going forward. Without him, the transition from defense to attack was just nowhere near as slick. It's easy to overlook what he does in a game, but when he is not there you can really see the void he leaves behind. There are plenty of players who have improved this season under Emery. Hector Bellerin, Rob Holding and Alex Iwobi immediately spring to mind, but Xhaka is right up there. A player who not so long ago was viewed as liability by many, is now an integral part of this new Arsenal team. It's only really in his absence that you see just how important he is. Deluded Mourinho. Manchester United had clearly been sent out to try and bully Arsenal. The home side's performance bore all the hallmarks of a typical Jose Mourinho display. Getting Arsenal faces, kick lumps out of them and try to get them to go into their shell. It's worked for Mourinho in the past against the Gunners, but it didn't on Wednesday night. Despite seeing his side make it 4 games without a win in the Premier League, Mourinho said he was proud of the way his players performed. And that's fair enough. It was an intense game fought out by 2 good teams. But what he had to say about the way Arsenal ended the contest was pretty baffling. The last part of the game was Arsenal wanting the draw, diving, getting the game stopped, waiting for the game to go to the end, said the United coach. Exactly what he was trying to achieve with those comments was unclear. Perhaps he was trying to deflect away from the fact his side had failed to win again in the Premier League, but he didn't really manage it. Image, Michael Regan /Getty Images. If one team was going to win that game late on, it was Arsenal. They were the side really pushing for the 3rd goal. They were the team who was forcing the opposition goalkeeper into making saves. Arsenal weren't diving or playing for time. They were going for the win. You could see the disappointment on their faces at full time that they had failed to get all 3 points. It just seemed yet again that Mourinho was comments to deflect attention, rather than actually saying anything of genuine substance.